Ladies and gents, boys and girls, welcome. This is the Overtime Drive SEC Unfiltered SEC football show, the best SEC football show on the internet here on this Monday, July the 21st, 2025. We got a jam-packed show for you. Lot to get into. I am Chris Phillips. Joining me, as they always do, Dave Shumate, Cole Thompson. And again, we appreciate each and every single one of you being here on this Monday night. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn notifications. Check us out via podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, you can also find us across all social media platforms as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. And as always, powered by our friends over at FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/SECU to join today and get started with $250 in bonus bet. You win your first $5 bet. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/SECU to get $250 in bonus bets today. This is the Overtime Drive, SEC Unfiltered's SEC football show, the best SEC football show on the internet. I am Chris Phillips. Joining me, as they always do, everyone thankfully made it home safely from Atlanta, Georgia. If you're Dave, you just went down the road. Dave Shumate, Cole Thompson, joining me tonight. Again, we got a lot to discuss. We're going to talk everything from teams most likely to get upset in week one of the college football season, of course, sticking with the SEC. Also, our reactions to what came out on Friday, the media's preseason poll, a.k.a. predicted order to finish, and the all-SEC team. Some other nuggets to get into as well. Gentlemen, how are we doing? Dave, I'll start with you.
Man, I mean, hell, I already had a missed snap today, as y'all know, with our exercise. So I'm I already put it together. But you know what? We improvised. We got it done, man. But pretty good day today. A little overcast here. But you're right. It does feel like now we're just sitting on G waiting on O with the football season. So I'm ready to get it rock and roll. Hey, Bearwood knows. He covers when's is the Hall of Fame game in a week? The first preseason game?
Next Saturday.
It's Saturday?
Next Saturday. Not this one.
No, Dave, listen, football's here, dude. I actually got my tickets today. I'm going to this is the welcome back weekend for the Tennessee Titans. Tickets are free to that event, which, I mean, the Titans should just make all their tickets free at this point if nobody goes. But first look at Cam Ward, the Titans uniform, and there's no more Will Levis with the season-ending injury that happened today. So it's the Cam Ward show in the nasty.
In there, CP.
We're sneaking a
team for you now.
We're going to be sneaking a peek at the Titans this season.
That's a division rival. You'll see Bear twice a year.
Yeah, sorry about it, Bear. It's just tough.
Hey, what are you drinking, Dave?
You got a coffee?
You know who has
you get a cold brew at 8 at 9 o'clock?
The best cold brew will be our proud Texas Longhorn fans down in Austin, Texas. Have phenomenal cold brew. Starbucks also has a pretty good cold brew too. So shameless plug.
Here's how you know that we are on two different spectrums at this point. You're drinking a cold brew at 9 o'clock. I have just cracked open my first ice cold beer. So you know what? It's going to be one of those shows. Dave's going to be wired. I'm going to be coming off the edge. We're going to switch some things up tonight. Let's just do that.
And I'm drinking water. That's how you know things are ass backwards. That's how you know things are ass backwards if I'm sipping on water. So
this is water.
Yeah, Michelob Ultra is basically a water.
It's water.
It's a little bit of a carbonated water too. It'd be like me getting a sparkling water essentially. Anyways, guys, got a lot to get into. Going to be a really fun show. Like we mentioned, things really going to be starting to heat up. Like Dave said, we're sitting on G, waiting on O. The college football season just around the corner. Guys, we're in the 30s now when it comes to the countdown. We're going to start getting fall camp reports as soon as next week, and football will officially be in the air. That being said, though, we got a fun topic to kick this one off tonight. Guys, let's start. We were taking a look at the week one schedule. Which games are most likely to produce upsets of SEC teams? The top five for each of us that I think these SEC teams should be on upset alert. So, guys, what that means, if you're following along carefully, is Texas and LSU cannot be included in this exercise because they're underdogs. You can't pull the upset if you're already an underdog, if you will. You cannot get upset, I should say. You can only pull the upset. So, hang with me there. SEC teams that could get upset in week one, not pull the upset. Again, if you're the dog, you're not part of this exercise. But there's actually a lot of games, of course, because you got a lot of non-conference. You got some cupcakes, quote-unquote cupcakes mixed in. And we're going to have some fun with this, each of us giving our top five and an honorable mention to start. Let's start there. And, guys, stick with me here. If you guys don't mind, how about we do this as snake draft, right? Not that we can't pick the same game or whatever, but I don't want to sit here respectfully and listen to Dave. I don't want to listen to Dave go through honorable mention 5 through 1 and 20 minutes later I'm like, I don't even remember what game you said.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll get Dave to start with his honorable mention. Then I'll go. Then Cole will go honorable mention number 5. Again, you're an NFL guy, Cole. You know how the snake draft works. We've all played fantasy football. Then we'll go from there to what 4. I think I'm following along here. Anyways, we're gonna do a snake draft. So we're gonna start with Dave Shumate. Again, this is the top 5. And by the way, before you get going, Dave, let me pull this up really quickly because I did have this up. Your week 1 schedule, just in case you forgot all the games on week 1, really quickly. I'll run through these, because we do have a great slate. There are a lot of interesting games in week 1. And guys, if this season is anything like last season, it's going to produce some wacky results. It gets going Thursday night. Mizzou, and by the way, we're going to predict all these games, so you ain't got to worry about memorizing this. We're going to, as we get closer to kickoff, we're going to have full game predictions, previews, all that good stuff. Mizzou Central, Arkansas on Thursday night in Como. Auburn going to Baylor. Got a feeling that one might be on this list because Auburn is the slight favorite. That one's on Friday night, interestingly enough. Then on Saturday, of course, the loaded slate, Mississippi State at Southern Miss, Tennessee and Syracuse in Atlanta, Ohio State, Texas, of course, in Columbus, Kentucky, Toledo, in Memphis, Florida State, Alabama in Tallahassee, Georgia, Marshall, and Athens, Arkansas, Alabama, A&M in Fayetteville, Oklahoma, Illinois State in Norman, Florida, Long Island, and Gainesville, Texas A&M, UTSA, and College Station, Vandy, Charleston, Southern, right here in Nashville, Clemson, LSU in Clemson, Ole Miss, Georgia State, and Oxford. And finally on Sunday, right, we're double dipping in the city of Atlanta, South Carolina, and Virginia Tech, the Beamer Bowl at Mercedes-Benz. So that is your full week 1 schedule in case you forgot. Now, let's get into it. Dave, I want you to start. Give us your honorable mention, precluding your top 5. Which game just missed out on the cut for you? Most likely SEC game and SEC team to get upset in week 1.
You're setting the tone, though. I mean, how weird was even last year, the first week? You had that close South Carolina Old Dominion game. You had, remember, Kentucky Southern Miss played a half.
That's true, yeah, because the weather.
Got canceled. I mean, so there's some wacky. Vandy, upset of the day, getting the win over Virginia Tech. So there's always something that's crazy. But honorable mention to me, I don't think this is going to happen. That's why I have an honorable mention. But I think it is an interesting piece here. We're going to go down to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, guys. A lot of people recognize it as Baseburg, but yes, they do play football. They were Boise before Boise with Jeff Bauer, but they're not very good now. But Charles Huff in town, coming over from Marshall, been at Mississippi State, Alabama, had Marshall rolling. Big year 2 for Jeff Levy. Big year 2. State's a 12.5-point favorite. I think State, first game with Blake Shapen, gets it done, but a lot of those Marshall players are in Hattiesburg, and they won Conference USA last year. It could be interesting if Mississippi State's offensive line's not clicking off to the start, but if Mississippi State's offensive line is just average, I think they'll win this game. But it's an interesting one. Interesting one. If Jeff Levy lost this game, folks, see you later. No mas, it may be. But no, I don't think they do, but it could be interesting.
So, Dave, I'm going to go to my honorable mention. I'm glad you mentioned the spreads, by the way, because I do want to talk about the spreads just ever so briefly, because I think it sets the scene for
how big of an underdog.
How big of an upset it would be, right? How big of an underdog, or how big of a favorite, I guess we should say, the SEC team we are discussing is. So you went with what? That was a 12.5-point spread with Mississippi State and Southern Miss.
I thought it would be more.
Fair. I'm going to go my honorable mention. Guess what? The spread is exactly the same, 12.5. My honorable mention is Tennessee, Syracuse in Atlanta on Saturday.
I like that.
And I say this, at first glance, do I think it's going to happen? Not necessarily. But game 1 of a new quarterback, I mean, I have no idea. I have no
Syracuse
clue.
Is a good coach team.
I think Tennessee, we'll talk more about it, of course, in a few weeks. I think they're probably going to win that game with a smothering defense. But if Joey Aguilar stinks it up bad enough, here's the thing. You never know in these season openers. You genuinely never know. Right. You never know. So Tennessee, Syracuse for me, that's my honorable mention. Just missed the cut. I think that one at minimum, Syracuse could cover the 12.5. I know you and I, Dave, had that conversation off air, I believe. Which of the underdogs do you feel like more than likely or is more likely to cover the spread in those Atlanta games? Or which Atlanta game do you expect to be better?
ACC teams.
Yeah, both SEC, ACC back-to-back days. Just missed the cut for me, but honorable mention. Would not be surprised if things got a little wacky. Bear?
Sorry, there we go. Yeah, sorry, cut out for a second. Stay in Atlanta, just go to a different day. Let's go ahead on over to Sunday. I got Virginia Tech versus South Carolina as the honorable mention game. 9.5-point spread. Here's the bottom line. And this is a little bit of pettiness. This has nothing to do with the actual game. I don't feel like that I can pick against South Carolina because I'm riding with the Cox this year, as I do most years. And I'm going to say immunity real fast, so throw that out. You can't go ahead and use that against me. But last season, I was way too high on Virginia Tech. Like, I fully was invested that what SMU was doing, that would have been the Hokies. 97% returning production. Kyron Drones is back for another year. I really like Brett Pry as a coordinator, and then creates the narrative of Baba Yaga coming out of the woodwork and finalizing, dominating in Nashville. So I'm done in Virginia Tech. I just refuse to believe that they can do it. But also, let's just call it as is. There are some questions when it comes to South Carolina. It wouldn't be shocking. Neutral site game, standalone matchup, right after the Tennessee versus Syracuse game. Maybe this is one that comes with a few more hiccups along the way. We saw last season down to the wire with Old Dominion. Maybe we're going to see something very similar, but I don't think that South Carolina gets upset going into this matchup at all. And number 5 for me, so now we kickstart the list. Hi, TJ. I see you in the chat. I know that you're going to be excited about this one. Number 5 is Alabama versus Florida State. I am very high on Florida State. I think that they are going to be a very different team than what we saw last year. You got 2 wins. Like, you're at the bottom of the barrel of all of college football. The only place to go is up. Like, you can't get much lower at this point. And I do think that you have some pieces there that are going to be really interesting. Roydell Williams at running back. I think that you're going to have decent wide receiver play with Squirrel White. You bring in Deuce Robinson from USC, and you bring in Tommy Castellanos. And the one thing that we can say is that mobile quarterbacks last year did give fits for Kane Womack's defense. They were a problem at times for Alabama to get stopped. And so this game being played at Doak Walker, it's going to be a matchup in Tallahassee to where you want to set the tone really early on. It's a 13-point spread. I think that maybe we could see for a quarter this be a really, really interesting game. Maybe even a half if we want to go that far. Like Squirrel White balls on out and catches like a 62-yard touchdown pass or something like that. I could see that happen. But like Tommy C ran his mouth for a check he can't cash. And Tim Keenan and Deontay Lawson, we were there last week. We heard it. The disrespect will be addressed. They're not losing this game because of the disrespect is going to be addressed. They're going to do everything in their power to put Tommy C in a body bag before the end of the first half. Like, that's where we're at. And I got to be lucky enough to shake Tim Keenan's hand because we were doing stuff for Sports Talk 790. I don't know how many offensive linemen are prepared to go one-on-one with him in a man matchup that is going to lead to a tackle for loss or a sack behind the line of scrimmage. But it is Doak Campbell. It is going to be played in Tallahassee. The heat of the moment and the heat of the afternoon. Ty Simpson, brand new quarterback. I could see a scenario where this is a little bit too close for comfort in the first half, but that's why it's at number 5 and not at number 1.
Okay, so we're going to go back.
Snake gave us the full game preview.
He did. I mean, I think that's we can just clip that and just go ahead and publish that as the game preview. It's already done. Okay, so we're going to obviously repeat some games. That's very obvious. So my number 5, I'm going to go back to the one Dave just talked about. I've got Mississippi State at Southern Miss. I would be a lot more excited for this game if it was a baseball game, be totally honest with you. Like we actually saw this one during the baseball season. It was a great game. These were great matchups. But, yeah, I mean, again, do I expect it? Not necessarily, but I don't know, man. It just feels weird to me. Going to Hattiesburg, the Berg will be jumping. The Berg will be fired up. Maybe. I mean, I don't even, by the way, I don't even see the line.
This game, he probably has the most on the line out of like outside of him or Kalen DeBoer of 2 dudes that aren't directly on the hot seat going into the year. Either one of those dudes lose,
the seat will be scorching.
Oh, man, you still got 11 more games.
Yeah. So I'm going to go Mississippi State, Southern Miss. You talked about it briefly, Dave, but, I mean, listen, for Blake Shapen coming back from the injury, what does he look like? I mean, I'm sure they're going to lean on the run game with Booth, but what does that defense look like? I mean, I don't know. So, and then Southern Miss, I know they're kind of in a period of transition in their football program, but it's why it's at number 5 for me and not number 1. But that one could be sneaky. That one could be sneaky.
Game's at 11 Central too, man. I mean, there's a lot of games starting at 11.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not going to be repetitive, CP. I'm going to go with, for my number 4, I'm going to go Tennessee, Syracuse.
5?
Or number
Sorry,
5.
5. I'm going to Tennessee, Syracuse. Again, same reasons. I think Fran Brown, Elijah Robinson can come up with a game plan. You mentioned first game with Joey Aguilar. Actually, if someone told me they were taking Syracuse, they were going to take the points, I'd be like, I don't think it's a bad pick week 1. I mean, because, again, nobody really knows what they have week 1, neither do the coaches, neither do us. It's not a bad – you could be sitting there at half feeling pretty good. So maybe you take them first half. But, no, I agree with you. I think that's either 5th or honorable mention. Maybe you could even make a case for 4.
And then you're number 4.
My number 4 here, I'm going to follow Bears honorable mention. Again, I'm not going to be long-winded on that either. Carolina, Virginia Tech. I think that could be a game you certainly could see being a really close down. Like, you hear that intro come in to start the fourth quarter, and we're sitting here in a one-score game either way. Carolina's up or Virginia Tech's up. Wouldn't shock me. Glad this is kind of a Sunday afternoon game. I think this is a very good time slot for this game. Like Bear mentioned, the standalone. You get the Beamer theme to it. But no, I think this will be a good football game. Again, there's no more motivated team than a college football team rolling into week 1. So everybody's a little different, going to be coming in and playing with a little chip on their shoulder, a little fire under their ass. So who knows? Virginia Tech can play for South Carolina down to the wire and end up not being very good. It's week 1. I can see this game being close. I think it's in that same range Cole said, or kind of where I have it there at 4.
Either way, going to be a very interesting Sunday fun day show for us, no matter what the result is in that game. I'll just say that. It's going to be a lot of fun. My number 4, again, a little repetitive, but like I said, we're going to repeat games. Number 4, I got Bama at Florida State. Listen, I don't know what Ty Simpson's going to do. I mean, I think he's going to be good, but you just never know. I mean, Tommy Castellanos did run his mouth, and as Cole said, we heard them say the disrespect will be handled accordingly. So, you know, maybe that strikes the fear of God in Florida State. But, I mean, if you're FSU, what do you have to lose? Like, I mean, you're Mike Norvell, I'd be throwing it all at him. Like, just empty the, throw the kitchen sink, see what happens. A team with nothing to lose like that is really dangerous. So, everybody's going to be picking Bama. I doubt you're going to see many out there picking Florida State. But, yeah, if you told me that game came out of the wire, I wouldn't be totally shocked. And, I mean, it's just – you guys, going back to it, you have to think outside of the box a little bit. Like, think about last year. They were a sexy upset pick. Don't get me wrong, but Florida State, Georgia Tech in week 0. I mean, you go back to some of these games and, it's just, especially in these openers, you just never know. So you just never know. So yeah, I'm gonna go number 4. Go with that FSU Bama game, which I feel like, I don't know if it's flying under the radar, but LSU, Clemson, Texas, Ohio State. Don't sleep on that FSU Bama game. That one's going to be fun.
It's the weakest of the 3 major games, but it's not a weak game. Like, let's just go ahead and phrase that. And I think this is a weak game. And honestly, Dave already mentioned it. I may take the points. I might. My number 4 is Syracuse versus Tennessee. It's just, what if Steve Angeli comes in and feels like he is a better fit for Jeff Nixon's offense than Ricky Collins is? And he looks the part in camp, and he ends up winning the job outright, and he's picking apart early stages of that secondary that's going to be missing Jamal McCoy at the start of the year because he was coming off the injury. Like, what is that going to look like in this matchup? And then, of course, on the other side, your offense was built for Nico Iamaleava to be successful. We don't know what Joey Aguilar is going to be. I think that he is going to be a fun quarterback, and that Tennessee could make this a really, really intriguing season where everything comes together and their defense doesn't fall apart and their offense gets that wide receiver 1 to stand on out and their rushing attack is still great. Like, it could, but I know Elijah Robinson. I know what his defense looks like, and I know Fran Brown. And Fran Brown plays with like this relentless style of bath salts and sheer determination to beat the brakes off of you when you're doing it out of neutral field. So maybe this ends up kind of backfiring just a little bit on Tennessee in this matchup. Like, the points, it's too big of a spread, in my opinion, not knowing what you got a quarterback going into this game. And I'll tell you what, Fran Brown is my favorite coach on the rise right now. I would love to see him in the SEC. You get a win like this, you become primary target number 1 for a lot of teams that are trying to go build a culture and identity. Doesn't mean he's going to take the job, but definitely I think in that running. I don't think it happens. That's why it's lower on my totem pole. But I'll tell you what, this going into the fourth quarter, not going to be shocking for me.
What's this mean for Heupel if he loses, fellas?
nothing.
He's not getting fired this year. Their schedule's good enough to get them back on that 8-4 track. But man,
it doesn't do anything. But it's also like, come on, man. Like you shouldn't be losing this game with what type of talent you have.
In year 5.
Number 3 for me, and you guys have already brought this up, so I won't get long-winded, but I do think that Mississippi State versus Southern Miss is a really, really, really interesting game because you got Charles Huff. And Southern Miss has been a dumpster fire for the last several years, but it's Charles Huff. He took Marshall to a conference championship in the Sun Belt, and he has his quarterback for this year. He came down with him from Huntington, West Virginia to Southern Miss. So he already has a good understanding of the offense. And a lot of those players from that team left the herd to go down to play for the Golden Eagles. And you got your questions when it comes to Mississippi State. And again, we watched Mississippi State last year lost to a MAC team. It's not that far-fetched. You're playing on the road. You're going to this field. You're not playing in Starkville. It doesn't happen, in my opinion, but I may take the points. I mean, when you look at that spread coming in at 13, knowing what you got at quarterback for Southern Miss and knowing what the offensive identity is going to be underneath Charles Huff, I'd at least consider it. I'd at least take the Golden
One
Eagles.
of these 12.5 point underdogs is going to win. There's too many.
They're going to win outright, too.
Somebody is. Either Virginia Tech, Syracuse. Man, Southern Miss is God, man, I hope for Jeff Levy's sake that doesn't happen.
For Jeff Levy's sake, because I don't know if you come back from that. I don't know if you can.
No, those Mississippi State fans will not take kindly losing to Southern Miss, not in a new coach's first game, really ever, but especially in a first-year head coach's game. No way.
That's one Dave's got a very good feel on that one.
No
Let's
way.
say that. He's got a good feel on that one for the fan bases down there. So Hattiesburg, native, right? Family in Hattiesburg. Family in
I'm on
Hattiesburg.
the coast, man. I'm not up in that.
Okay. My apologies. Sorry. Those are fighting words. Those are fighting words.
Sounds like I touched a nerve there, man.
Yeah. Number 3, game you guys talked about, South Carolina, Virginia Tech. This is one I might pick the upset. I don't know yet. Hear me out. Any South Carolina fan that's writing, and anybody just in general, but any South Carolina fan that's writing this game off as kick in, easy win, no big deal. Guys, let me take you down a path. Let me take you back to season openers under Shane Beamer. Last year, you almost lost to Old Dominion. Not a good football team. Not even remotely a good. You were losing that game, by the way.
Yeah.
Almost lose to Old Dominion. 2023, you come in with an insane amount of hype. You give up 9 sacks and get pushed around by North Carolina. 2022, you beat Georgia State on your home field, but it took blocking 2 punts. You win that game by 21, but it was an ugly game, right? Really ugly, really sloppy in the opener. Granted, you win, but sloppy. 2020, you lose to Tennessee on your home field. That was the Colin Hill game, by the way. That'll be a trivia question one day at some bar. Who was the quarterback in 2020 for South Carolina? Mike Bobo, the OC. Fun times. 2019, or excuse me, okay, so I'm going actually past 2021. I skipped over, I guess. 2021, you did beat Eastern Illinois 46-0 in Shane Beamer's first game. I mean, it was the school of the deaf and the blind. I could go beyond the Shane Beamer tenure. 2020, like I mentioned, you lose to Tennessee in the opener. 2019, Bill Muschamp loses to Mac Brown in his first game at North Carolina to a freshman quarterback in Sam Howell. The point I'm trying to make is South Carolina is not historically good in season openers, guys. They've won a lot of them, especially if you go back past that, because Spurrier, he never lost them. But since Steve Spurrier, they have been, even when they've won, they have been really shaky in openers. I mean, Shane Beamer's been shaky in early seasons. Granted, he shook that a little bit last year when they beat the hell out of Kentucky, but it's typically taken them a few weeks to get it going. So, yeah, I think 12.5 is way too much. Again, I don't know that I'll pick the upset, but just knowing some of the history of South Carolina football and knowing how they at times struggle to get out of the gate. I mean, if they have it anywhere near a performance like they had last year in the opener, they're going to get their ass beat. I mean, there's just no question. So, you got a lot to replace on defense. You got Lenora Sellers, but, who's going to be running the football? The line of scrimmage is always a question in Columbia. Hey, people don't even talk about you lost your top target in Joshua Simon. I know you got Michael Smith, but I mean, God, you got to replace him. So, Vatek's got their own questions, but that one's number 3 for me. I won't balk at anyone that picks the upset there. Again, you think of South Carolina and openers, and I think you'll understand why. For some reason, they've just really struggled to get out of the gate, even in Shane Beamer's tenure. So that's my number 3.
3 for me. I'm going to go the one we talked about plenty already, Bama, Florida State. I for whatever reason, I've gotten less confident in that game for Alabama as it's gotten closer. I mean, I think Bama's going to win. I would be pretty shocked if they straight up lost, but I don't know. Again, there's not a more motivated team in college football than all the teams in week 1. Every team rolls into week 1 or week 0, and your first game is thinking they're the greatest team ever. Most teams are decently healthy at that point. Florida State's definitely going to be improved this year. I think you could see some hero-type plays with Thomas Castellanos a little bit, but I do think Bama does settle in there at some point. But I think they win. I don't know. I think this game's going to be close going to the fourth quarter. It would not shock me at all if this game's close. I felt a lot better about this in the spring, just more of a gut feeling. So I got a little closer than you guys had, and probably most people have. Still think Bama wins, but I think Florida State covering the spread would be or taking them in the points, giving up 12.5. I think it's starting to become more of a reality to me.
And your number 2, Dave?
CP, I'm going to take a little page out of your book here, son, from last year. I think we're going to have a little action coming in on the SEC 2 years in a row, baby. I'm calling. I may go this.
Don't steal my thunder, Dave. Don't copy me.
Toledo Rockets getting Jason Candle and the boys showing up, getting back-to-back SEC road wins. They're going to have double the amount of road wins Jeff Levy will have by the end of season 2, and he's played 8 conference games on the road in this league. Give me Toledo straight up going into Kroger Field, stealing all their groceries. They're more Publix guys. Getting the dub, baby. Give me the Rockets. Give me the Rockets. I'm there right now. I convinced myself in the middle of my conversation, my dialogue, that they're going to get the dub. Give me the Rockets straight up. I don't know why it's not number 1.
Think about the feather in your cap as a program if you're Toledo, if back-to-back years you beat an SEC team. I mean, that's –
argue that they're bottom dwellers. It's just an SEC team.
Yeah, I mean, that's really impressive. Good pick, Dave. Really good pick. But for those that don't know, by the way, if you are listening and you're new, what Dave and what we are all referring to, last year I picked Toledo to beat Mississippi State that week. And it was a boldest.
Let's be honest. You didn't even
sweat. It was 28-0 at the half. It wasn't even close.
I mean, they ended up winning, 42-7, and it probably wasn't even that close.
Bro, I mean – should have thrown the mortgage on him. I mean,
that was the Rocky 3, the trainer, Apollo.
Go in the damn town.
All right, so my number 2 is Auburn at Baylor. This is a game I know we're going to talk about a lot. I don't trust Hugh Freeze as far as I can throw him. This wouldn't be a huge upset either because it's a pick 'em. I mean, it's. Auburn's a 1.5 point favorite, I believe, right now on the road. And I'm leaning on my guy Bear Thompson here a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you and say I know a ton about Baylor football or especially the atmosphere. Per our guy Bear, it's a tough place to play. So Dave Aranda and the boys, this feels like a game to me. I mean, number one, we could just talk about, Auburn and Hugh Freeze and there's plenty of reasons not to trust that he's going to have his team ready to come out and play their best football in week 1. But I think a lot of SEC folks are just going to look at this game and be like, oh, it's the SEC versus the Big 12. Like, Baylor's probably not good. Like, give me Auburn. And it's like, I think you're going to watch this game and be like, oh, shit, Baylor's actually pretty good. Like, they got some dudes. Like, and Dave Aranda's a really good coach. So, yeah, I'll be curious the way the picks go in this one. I really will. And it's such a massive game for Auburn. It's just it's such a pivotal game for them.
They need it so much more than Baylor.
Oh, my God, dude.
Yeah,
they need this game so badly, especially after the offseason and, like, the whole golfing thing and lack of recruiting momentum. It's only going to get worse if and when you start losing. So, yeah, I'll be curious what the picks look like, especially with this trio of folk right here, especially the people that tune into our show. But, yeah, it's number 2 on my list, and it could easily be number 1.
All right, number 2, shout out to Troll Vol. I told you I would do it, so there you go. You got your shout out. You better make sure that you share this channel and tell your friends, family, mortal enemies, best of bros why Overtime Drive on SEC Unfiltered is the number 1 app and the number 1 content that you need for college football. I'm with Dave. I think that this is going to be a really fun matchup for Toledo against Kentucky. They have the starting quarterback in Tucker Gleason. And I'll tell you what, if I'm just going straight quarterback picks, Tucker Gleason versus Zach Calzada, I don't even have to go through the rest of the game. It's Tucker Gleason 10 times out of 10. Taking Tucker Gleason, running the bank with it. I don't think it will be one of these matchups that is a blowout the way that we saw last year from Mississippi State, because I still trust Mark Stoops when it comes to defense. I still believe he is going to find 2 or 3 players, whether it be David Gusta or whether it be the kid that they brought in from South Dakota. They'll be in a really good spot to where they'll put pressure on a quarterback to make mistakes, and they'll be competitive. But I do look at the addition of Chip Trainum coming on in to be your starting running back. I do look at you having one of your star receivers back this year with the arrival of Junior Vandross, who's like a top 10 group of 5 wide receiver. I think that they have a veteran offensive line. I think their defense has a lot of continuity to it. And this is a game for a Kentucky squad that is breaking in a lot of new pieces, a lot of new faces on the offensive line. It's a recipe that's not going to end well for you if you can't get out the gate swinging. Like, I think that you have to really control the tempo of this matchup. I think that you have to play a brand of football that is going to be physical and working on the line of scrimmage. And I feel like that if this game was played like week 4, Kentucky would win by double digits. I'm not sure I can feel that way with how many new pieces you're breaking on in to have to deliver early in your success. And like, Kentucky may end up getting an upset win. I just don't think that this is one of those games where it's like, oh, they're going to show you why things are different in Lexington going into 2025. It's not. But number 1, and the one that is my pick to be the upset in week 1, and I'm not even going to hold back on this one because I'm fully convinced it's going to happen.
He's biased. He's an Auburn hater.
Baylor is going to upset Auburn in week 1 on a Friday night.
Upset, right? 1.5. I mean, but it's still an upset. But I'm just saying, like,
that's number 1.
Watch out.
Should we really be like,
hater?
Like, should we really, not to cut you off, Cole, but like, should we really be shocked? Like, when we're talking on Sunday, if it happens, like, I can't believe that. I'm be like, yeah, I believe that.
Okay.
I don't think anybody would be shocked whatever direction this game goes.
I'll take it a step further. I think that Baylor wins by double digits. I'll go that far. I will take it a step further. That
hater.
Sure. Hater.
Bama grad, bro.
Bama grad.
Take his big serious.
Let's start off with this. The way the offense looked for Baylor at the end of the season was exactly why you should have confidence if you are a Bears fan going into 2025. Sawyer Robertson was playing out of his mind. He was one of the best quarterbacks in college football, not one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12. Continuity, consistency, the explosive plays downfield. He's got a cannon of an arm, and the accuracy drastically improved. The decision-making improved. Yeah, he was willing to throw into double coverage from time to time, and that can lead to some turnovers, but the overall identity of what are his strengths and his footwork and his pocket awareness, I think is really, really promising. And I also really do like the wide receiver in Josh Cameron. I think that he is one of the better wide receivers in the Big 12. He certainly is one of the better wide receivers in the conference. So Kalen Lee is going to have his hands full in that matchup for certain, but they also have a really good tight end in Michael Trigg, and they brought in some good pieces in the transfer portal this offseason. They have a running back in Bryson Washington, who was the best running back outside of Cam Scottaboo down the stretch last season in the Big 12. Over 1,000 rushing yards, over 6 yards of play. And I think that that's going to be another feather in your cap for Jake Spavital to say, listen, we can win through the air. We can win on the ground. We can win on third down with a short to intermediate pass. We can win with a very forceful, physical style of play. I think the defense is what's going to make this a really intriguing matchup for Auburn because of they gave up far too many explosive plays last year out in Waco. And that's Dave Aranda's bread and butter. Like, he speaks defensive backs and he speaks secondary play. So I think if you can take advantage with a Perry Thompson, a Eric Singleton, a Cam Coleman in that matchup, by all means, that is where you are going to find a way to win. But I want to bring in the other part, and Dave knows this because he stood on that sideline. McLean Stadium, Brazos River, Friday night, blackout game. It's August in Texas. Yeah, it's going to be a night game. That does not mean that that field is going to be anywhere near cool and calm conditions. It is still going to be a sweltering armpit of misery for anybody standing on the opposing side. And Baylor's been practicing that. Baylor understands what that atmosphere is
Auburn
like.
practices.
Baylor knows how to play at McLean Stadium.
It doesn't get
And
hot
then
at
you throw-
Auburn.
Dude, it
And
doesn't
then
get
you
hot
throw
at
in-
Auburn.
Then you throw in the blackout game. You don't lose a blackout game.
Dave, it wasn't hot last year in Auburn when we went, was it?
You don't lose a blackout game. You don't. On the
Cole
Brazos,
says
blackout
Baylor's winning
Friday
because
night.
it's hot.
I think let's go a step further. I think Sawyer Robertson is the best quarterback that people are not talking about from a national perspective in college football. I think that Bryson Washington is the best running back that people aren't talking about in the national perspective in college football. I think Josh Cameron is the best wide receiver that people are not talking about in a national perspective in college football. And as much as I like DJ Durkin, as much as I like the defensive pieces that they brought back, I don't like Hugh Freeze and the direction that he has taken this program. And you're asking me who do I trust more? A Dave Aranda, who in a year where people didn't think that Baylor was going to do anything, won a Big 12 title, or Hugh Freeze that has had rosters with more talent in his left pinky than some teams are, and they fail to meet expectations, and they constantly shoot themselves in the foot, and it's a road game, and it's a game to where I think that Baylor fans believe that if we win this one, we can go on a warpath throughout the Big 12 and punch our ticket to Arlington and maybe go on a run to the college football playoff. I think that plays a factor. So if it may sound biased because I'm a Bama grad, so be it. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with my belief in Baylor going into 2025
And it being hot.
and it being hot on the Brazos River. I'm taking Baylor to win this game. I think that they will win by double digits. I think you will see the beginning of the end for Hugh Freeze out on the plates.
Auburn's going to have this in the locker room, boys. We can't go play out.
I can't wait until that's on the disc tape that Auburn inevitably drops. But yeah,
You
blackout when
think about this too. Auburn's got to go to College Station 3 weeks later. They're
Gonna be another hot game.
another hot one.
hot game.
They're not ready. They're not ready.
They're not ready.
Hey, Hugh Freeze might steal your line bear and just complain about that in the postgame. Yeah, it was just really hot out there for our guys. We tried to coach them up best we could, and just we're not used to these conditions.
Blackout on the Brazos, man.
He's going with the Baylor Bears because he is Bear. It's one of his own.
Baylor Bears blackout on the Brazos. Try saying that 5 times fast. That's what's happening on a Friday night. And we will have a live
Me
reaction.
and Bear have already made 2 pretty bold predictions. He's got Baylor double digits. I got Toledo straight up getting another SEC win over Kentucky.
We will have a live reaction after that game. Depending on how that game goes, I will either be vehemently intoxicated and not able to function, or I will be celebrating like no one's business because everyone's doubting it.
There you have it.
But I think more people will probably pick Baylor when time comes, honestly.
Because they're going to realize that Baylor is a better quarterback.
I could easily see them winning.
Better quarterback plays for me. Sawyer Robertson. That's what it comes down to.
Boys, my number 1, I'm going Kentucky Toledo.
There we go.
I'm going to go back to the well. I'm going to go back to.
Confident this is.
I'm going to go back to the which means Kentucky's going to win by like 24 points.
You're probably right.
I'm going to go back to the well though. I went with Toledo last year. That was literally my boldest pick, I think, of the entire season. That actually panned out. I had some other ones that swung and missed badly, but I just think Kentucky stinks. I don't really know what else to say. There's not a program in the conference with less juice than Kentucky. And heck, I threw that out there as a challenge to their fan base a couple days ago when talking about their best case, worst case scenario. Said, hey, there's no juice in the program. You guys might not have listened to it. I went as far as to say, like, listen, there's no juice in the program. Like, we post Kentucky content. Y'all don't even watch it. Y'all don't even care about Kentucky football. And people were commenting like, yeah, I'm not really that fired up for football. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the team will be fired up, but, yeah, I don't know. Listen, Toledo's got everything to gain, nothing to lose, and I just don't know where we're at with Mark Stoops. So, I got it number 1. I think I'm going to go back to the well and pick the Rockets.
Yeah, I'm going to go with what we've already talked about. Chris, you had it 2. Bear had it 1. You had Auburn at Baylor. Like we talked about, I just
wanted to be different. I wanted to be different. I knew y'all were both going Auburn Baylor. It's probably the right pick.
Weeks ago,
it's probably the right pick, but I wanted to be.
Because again, it's not really an upset. It's the least of the upsets. It's not even really. No one would even consider it.
It is technically, but yeah.
Yeah, so I just think it's a total tone setter, as y'all said, for Hugh Freeze. I'm higher on Auburn than y'all are, but I will not feel good about that if they were to lose this game. They back themselves into a hole to winning that 8-9 win mark. So I think this is just not only just to get a W under the win column and start off 1-0, but it's just a tone setter to the entire season. Like y'all talked about with the negativity that's been surrounding this program for the last few months since the season ended. They need some kind of positive momentum. So I think this is, for me, the obvious no-brainer when it comes to, if we're talking upset. But again, I think everybody's going to say this is a coin flip game and nobody will be too shocked about what happens here.
Isn't it interesting? Like, we talk about the big games. Obviously, again, we didn't talk about LSU, Clemson, or Texas, Ohio State because they're both underdogs going into their games. But I feel like we've talked about it, like both of those games, the loser of each is probably not out of the college football playoff race. You know, like we could have a separate debate about that. But like Texas loses to Ohio State or vice versa, or if LSU loses to Clemson or vice versa, you know, you want to win the game, but it's like, hey, it's still all kind of in front of you. Like there's some games in week one, though, where like if Auburn loses to Baylor, if South Carolina loses to Virginia Tech, if Bama lost to Florida State, boy, reality is going to come crashing down really, really
think about
fast.
this too, CP. I mean, y'all know this. Like these games are going to affect some teams that aren't even involved in the games when it comes to, we're talking about if the SEC gets 4 or 5 teams in. You're going to be looking back on these weekends being like, what did the SEC do against, multiple ACC matchups we're talking about. And then we're even talking about the Big 12 matchup. So you're right. Like it's kind of, I know the SEC kind of gets that badge of SEC. Everybody cheers for everybody in bowl season. It's kind of to the point now with the way the playoffs and stuff are set up. You need to be cheering for your fellow conference mates.
Come on, guys. SEC. Yeah. Come on now. Conference pride. All right. So, guys, there's our top 5 honorable mentions. Would love to hear your thoughts. And we have heard a lot of your thoughts today. I actually posed the question today, fellas. Y'all saw this. Asking our fans and colleagues and all those that tune into the Overtime Drive and by the way, y'all are terrible at following directions because I told you to include your name and your hometown, and basically none of you did it. That's okay. A lot of you applied. a lot of you replied anyways. It's okay. So I've just posed the same question we've been talking about. Which SEC football team is most likely to get upset in week 1 of the college football season, and why? I got to start with this one, guys, as I'm scrolling here. At 4th and Truth, okay? At 4th and Truth. You ready for this? He says, he or she says, you're going to laugh, but I think it's Marshall over Georgia.
I saw this.
Kirby's youngest team since he's been in Athens. Marshall has reloaded with a stellar portal class, and Tony Gibson knows how to coach. I seriously think this is a 4-quarter football game, full stop.
Could you look up the address? Is this in West Virginia?
Well, no, what I was going to ask, is this one of like Kirby's staffers that he's intentionally trying to get bulletin board material to tell his team?
That's a good call there.
He's trying to tell his team, like, look, there's people that think we're going to lose to Marshall, y'all.
No,
look at this.
No, CP, I think it's that. You hit it hammer on the head. There's some black
staffer. it's some GA with an anonymous account. He's like, hey, go reply to that. That Marshall's going to come in here and whoop our ass.
Yeah, no, I think
get the boys fired up for fall camp.
Did he know that Charles Huff left? Like he knew this, right? He says Tony Gibson.
Yeah,
I would take Gunnar Stockton with the receivers from last year to still win by double digits in that game.
Yeah, the amount of people, by the way, that again didn't understand this exercise and said LSU. It's like, guys, they're not favored. They're not favored. They're 2.5-point dogs. People said Texas as well, guys. They're not favored. They're not favored. We did have a few comments. UTSA over A&M.
I saw that.
Our friend LH Fan Battle, aka Longhorn Fan Battle, Texas Longhorn Fan Battle podcast. There's certainly no bias there. Rick, here's at Galonzo75. Rick Lozano. A&M loses to UTSA. Rick from San Antonio. He actually gave us his name and hometown. Thank you, Rick. Rick from San Antonio says,
there you go, man.
Pick the Roadrunners.
Big runner fan.
No bias there. No bias there at all.
At Metro Atlanta 404. Shout out the ATL. Flokai. Auburn at Baylor, they will lose because they suck with an idiot for a head coach.
That's Bears burner.
Bear, you could have literally just summarized the whole thing synopsis you had about the game with that tweet.
It would have worked.
That's Bears burner.
It would have worked. Tom MC from Fort Hood, Texas. The horns down crowd are going to tell you that the Buckeyes beating Texas won't be an upset, but I'll take UTSA and Clemson So it's not an upset because of Clemson's favored, but UTSA
Dude, a lot
Roadrunners
of people are putting in the UTSA picks, baby.
Okay, I can explain that from a Texas perspective. There are a lot of folks that believe Jeff Traylor is not only one of the best coaches in the state when it came to high school when he was at Gilmer, but also just one of the best coaches in college football.
He's a good dude, yeah.
How he's been able to build his team up and that he's due for finally a promotion. And they love that he's still there. Like, nobody's complaining that he has not gotten a job elsewhere, but they realize that, hey, he's won Conference USA titles. He's taken UTSA to its peak level of football. He's retained so much talent. The level of consistency that you've seen, and he was breaking in a new quarterback last year. Like, for years, UTSA has really been a premier program in the state in terms of wins and losses because of the consistency. And he's got back a veteran quarterback with Owen McCown. He has some veteran offensive linemen. He's got some good defensive players. I will say Texas A&M's offensive line may be one of the best in college football this year. Like they're really well put together, and I think that alone is probably going to lead to a win for the Aggies.
What would that mean for Mike Elko?
A&M, by the way, is a 20.5-point favorite.
I'll tell you what that would mean for the organization, especially the boosters. They interviewed Jeff Traylor for the job, and Traylor was a candidate.
He wasn't going to get that job.
He was never going to get it, but it's like if you lose the guy that you were going to get that, like that was.
But it's not like they would go hire Jeff Traylor just because he beat Mike.
No, they wouldn't. But I would say, listen, it would not look good for Mike Elko. That's for damn sure.
Oh yeah,
it wouldn't look good for Elko.
That would be up there with the Jimbo lost to App State.
Listen, Rick from San Antonio and everybody else, if you're a believer, you can get UTSA at plus 800 on the money line. Plus 800.
A lot of our listeners.
Boy, you could throw in a really serious parlay with that one. Maybe a couple of those 12.5-point spreads. And where you should do it as we close out on this topic is with our friends over at FanDuel, guys. Once again, go to FanDuel.com/SECU to get your $250 deposit bonus today when you win your first $5 bet. FanDuel Sportsbook is here to help you make every moment more. The app is safe, secure, and super easy to use. If you already have an account, FanDuel offers great promotions every day to all users like Profit Boost tokens, new features like Parlay Hub. Build your own same-game parlay or choose from one of the popular SGPs already made for you in the Parlay Hub. And again, if you have not signed up yet, guys, we're about a month away from kickoff. Make sure you go to FanDuel.com/SECU to learn more. That's FanDuel.com/SECU. Get into the action with offers you won't want to miss. And it's not just college football, by the way. College basketball, believe it or not, it'll be here before you know it too. MLB's in full swing. NBA's around the corner. NFL's about to get going. Maybe some of you sickos out there want to bet on preseason football. You can bet on over-under win totals. They've already got big game spreads, like we mentioned. Everything you need, it's right there at your fingertips. Hey, fight night, right? I got a lot of buddies like watching UFC. You want to bet on the fight? You can do it over at FanDuel, FanDuel.com/SECU to get that $250 deposit bonus today when you win your first $5 bet. Gentlemen, that being said, let's keep it moving. This came out late last week, but obviously we did not have the opportunity to react to it. So definitely want to discuss it because ourselves, we obviously voted on this, but we released our picks publicly. But the media preseason poll was officially released. And I'm going to throw this on screen here really quickly, okay? I'm going to throw this on screen, or at least attempt to. Here's your preseason media poll. Now, this does not tell the full story. I actually just mentioned that as I pulled it up because I've got the full list 1 through 16. So for those listening via podcast, we've got the full 1 through 16 that the media has selected. What the graphic that I have put on the screen does not tell you is how many first place votes each team got. Okay, so just 1 through 16 here. Texas, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, South Carolina, Florida, Ole Miss, A&M, Tennessee, Oklahoma, rounding out the top 10. Auburn, Mizzou, Vandy, Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi State, rounding out 11 through 16. Teams that received first place votes. Texas led the way with 96. That makes sense. Georgia got 44. Again, that makes sense. Alabama got 29, being in third. LSU got 20. Being in fourth. South Carolina got 5 of them, being in fifth. Okay, fine. Florida got 2, being in sixth. Ole Miss got a first place vote, being at number 7. 1 first place vote. At number 9, Tennessee got one first place vote. Maybe that's where shit started to get sideways. I was about to say now it's about to. Oklahoma at 10 got 3 first place votes. Auburn at 11 got a first place vote. Must have wrote it in crayon. At number 13, the Vanderbilt Commodores. It is a tale as old as time and a tradition that never fails. Vandy with 2 first place votes. Guys, I'm going to let y'all go here in a second, but I'm going to echo something I said on social media on Friday. I am not one of these gatekeepers. Obviously, we are independent media, allow all to attend the event and cover the event, and we need more fun characters and personalities in sports media and covering the SEC, all that good stuff, whatever. But if you want to vote Vandy to win the SEC championship, and this is not a shot at Clark Lee in the doors, by the way. Love him to death. But if you want to vote Vandy, if you want to vote Auburn, Oklahoma, Tennessee, et cetera, I have no issue with it. But for the love of God, put your name, your face, your word, put your balls on this pick. Because whoever you are, if you are hearing the sound of my voice, if you picked Vandy to win the SEC, I want you on the show. I want to know the line of thinking. I want to know the football reasons why Vanderbilt was your pick to win the SEC. So now that we got the 1 through 16 out of the way, we can start to debate this and discuss this. I've been on my soapbox about the picks, guys. Whatever. To each their own. A pick is a pick. But for the love of God, once again, if you're going to make some of these picks, and certainly for the SEC champion picks, and is this poll that big of a deal? Not really. But this is why this poll isn't that big of a deal. Because 2 people voted Vandy to win the SEC championship. And there's no rhyme or reasoning or explanation as to why. Anyways, I've gone on long enough. Dave, we'll start with you. Your immediate thoughts to the way that the media voted their preseason.
I'm going to let Bearsky go. Go, Bearsky.
You're going to let Bear. Okay, let Bear have it. Take the floor.
I think I know. I want to believe I know who put down the Vandy vote. I just want to believe it because
who was it, Bear?
I'm going to throw it out here, and I know he's not going to text me.
Please do.
I know he's not going to text me, but a part of me thinks that because if he knows that A&M isn't going to get it done, Billy Lucci, you son of a gun, you were behind Texas, somehow having Steve Sarkisian walk out. The Aggie wore him. You're behind it, Billy. I know you are. I know you won't admit it. Nah, I don't know. I really want to meet him. Honestly, I just want to shake their hand for.
Do y'all think more people would publicly? You think more people would pick people like Auburn 1, teams like that? Y'all are more in the media traditionally than I have been from that perspective. But y'all think if they had to make it public, people would be a lot more serious?
Yeah,
not really.
Dude, I think if all the ballots were public, you'd be a lot less likely to pick Vandy 1. Yeah, hell yeah, I do. Because I'm telling you this right now. Like, live and let live. Pick is a pick is a pick. You can have it, but if I see someone I know that picked Vandy 1, brother, I'm going at him. Not going at him, but I'm tagging him on social media. Like, I'm like, I want you to come on the show, please. This is golden content. This is golden content. We're going to literally title it as
here we go. CP,
the guy who picked Vandy to win the SEC explains his reasoning.
Oh, you too. What is a more egregious pick? And I love this guy. He used to work for us. Hell, I did the preseason magazine with him this year. More egregious pick, whoever this individual is who picked Vandy to win the SEC, or our guy Blaine Gilmer having Tennessee finishing 14th in the SEC.
14's pretty tough.
Oh man, dude, you triggered me. I was like, man, what's more likely to neither? But like,
oh god,
Tennessee at 14 is just disrespectful.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you, man.
Certainly no bias in that prediction. No bias at all.
All right, so let's go through it. Texas at 1 is not shocking to me. I believe that Texas is the most complete team in the SEC when it comes to their projections, not going into the year. But if you told me at the season's end that they were 11-1, they had 1 conference loss in Georgia because nobody loses at Georgia, it's not shocking to me. I think that Oklahoma at number 10 is a little too low for my liking because of I do like what they brought in this offseason. And I think that they're going to have a healthy Deion Burks, which is going to be a game changer. I think that their offensive line is going to be better because if it's another year with Bill Beatonbow to kind of get used to and acclimated to what the SEC is. So it just feels a little bit too low to me. A&M is perfect at 8. Like, I feel like that's like where we start. Like, if you want to debate who needs to drop
that's 8
more.
and 4, Bear. That's
yeah,
8 and 4.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like who needs to drop more? Who needs to come on up? It just feels like they're right at that vicinity at that point of where, maybe if you want to move them down a little bit and Oklahoma up to 8, I could see that. I was very shocked that I was not the only person buying stock in South Carolina at 5. Like, I think that was one of the bigger shocks.
Did you have him at 2?
Who? South Carolina?
Yeah.
No, I had him at 5, not 2. No,
I got a group the other day. You put him at 2.
I was joking.
I was messing with you. I said, well, who put it? Because there's the 4 South Carolina first place.
Bear was one of the 5. Bear was one of the 5.
No. But them at 5 is really interesting because it feels like a lot of people are buying so much into Lenore Sellers. And maybe that's a good thing because when you have a quarterback that's built like him, he can single-handedly win you games. Florida also being that high, I think, is really talking highly of what they think of is going to be this upcoming year for DJ Lagway, which is probably a massive win if he can stay healthy. My only question is, can he stay healthy? Is he going to be at full speed by the time that we get to that level? And so I'll be interested in that. Vandy at 13 feels a little disrespectful. I mean, like it probably is fair, like it is.
I think you could put Vandy. I think. Yeah, I'm with you. You like Vandy, but they could be 6-6 and be 13th.
Yeah, and like they also could be 7-5 and be like 11. So it's like that's really interesting. What I also found very interesting when it came to the votes as well, it backed it up. I think everyone agrees that the top 4 teams in the SEC this year, in some capacity, are Texas, Georgia, Alabama, LSU. And based off of the voting and the way the voting went, Alabama, LSU, Georgia, they all fell behind Texas, but they had the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th most receiving votes, which, again, I think is pretty substantial when it comes to how people are going to view this league this year. It runs through those 4. They could get upset, but it would be very shocking if one of those 4 is not claiming the title in Atlanta.
I mean, hell, you picking Georgia 2nd, you might as well pick them to go 7-5.
I say you might as well
guys, we did this 2 or 3 shows ago. We said, was there a gap? I said I would be shocked if anyone was playing for the SEC championship out of those 4. Bear, you said, I think you added South Carolina in, and CP. Did you say the top 4? Or did you
I said the top 4. I will. This is a bit of a side note, but just to throw this in there, because I feel like this is most people's top 4. I was talking to our guy Blake Ruffino today. I don't mean to spoil. I don't think I'll be spoiling his predictions, but he's got Ole Miss finishing 4th, Alabama 5th.
Okay,
there's a little variety.
Just a little bit of a stretch.
There's a little bit of a variety for you.
Beneficial if they can get any kind of production on defense in the back end. That's the thing that scares me with them.
Yeah,
like
schedule helps them, no doubt.
If you told me LSU at 5 and Ole Miss at 4, I could.
You think he's going to go LSU at 5?
I know he's not. That's the problem. It's Rufino. He's not going to do that. He's never going to do that. What I'm saying is, if you told me that, I could actually see it. Like that one's not that shocking to me because I'm again. So you know how we filled out our polls for like all SEC teams. I'll just tell you it is because I don't really care anymore. My number 3 quarterback was not Arch Manning. It was Austin Simmons. Like I think Austin Simmons is going to be special this year, and he will be the quarterback that we talk about the most by the season's end. So it's not going to shock me if Ole Miss goes on a run and quarterback play is sufficient, but like it's hard for me to put them at 4. I can 5 through 8 is like a combination.
Yeah, you could pull a hat of Florida A&M, Ole Miss, South Carolina. Yeah, I mean,
Oklahoma, I don't think is that far fetched.
No, I would put Oklahoma above South Carolina in my opinion.
I'm saying, like, it's not that far fetched. So it's like there's where the conversation I think starts for Ole Miss. The top 4 for me is it feels like almost a lock. Now the order, you know what it's like for me.
See, that's what scares me though, Bear. You say that, and I'm like, there's no way. There's just,
like,
dude, this is too clean, too neat. Like it's going to be chaos.
I'm going to ask y'all after media days, did y'all's pick change of the top? Like, where's the cutoff? Where's the cutoff to who you would be surprised playing in Atlanta in December? I'm still at those 4.
So I had 8 going in with Oklahoma, and I take Oklahoma out. So still the top 7. My top 7.
Top 7 teams. You would not be shocked if they're playing in the SEC championship game.
Playing the top 4 for winning it. That's the difference for me.
Do I follow your boy Siski's lead, Dave, and throw A&M in this convo? Did you see that clip today?
No, what?
Siski was saying he thinks there's 5 teams that can win the SEC, and A&M was one of them that he had in his top.
I just don't trust Marcel Reed to go win.
No. I was really, and this is kind of a fun combo because now we're just talking like SEC Media Days takeaways. I was really intrigued by the amount of people that were shitting on Florida. Like, there's a lot of people that
I think Florida,
they are not buying stock on Florida. Like,
well, I mean, it's like if you told me DJ Lagway made it through the entire season healthy, I'm buying stock. I don't know if he can, and I'll say this: they don't have the floor that they had last year with him as the backup. I mean, you had Graham Mertz,
but like any team in this conference.
You have Harrison Bailey, who's almost collecting Social Security at this point.
But like any team in this conference, if you lose your starter, you're screwed.
Oh, you're 100%.
I'll say this, from a championship winning team standpoint, yes. To go still win 8 games.
So like if I say Florida
proved that, I think Florida proved that last year. If you have a really good freshman sitting there as a backup and your starter gets hurt, I think you can do it. With what they have now, I think Florida is that team. It could be like a 9-win team all the way to, if you lost Lagway, I mean, you're staring potentially at 5 and 7, I think.
Yeah, I hate to be the person that's going to and this is, you're saying who can win the SEC, right?
Yeah.
Not get to the title, win it.
I think it's those top 4. I'd be
shocked. Like win it is the top 4. Get there, that list starts to get a little bit longer, but I hate to be the guy too that just gets overzealous and includes too many. Like, especially like
I'll be honest with you, I'll make it. I don't think this is bold. I'll stick with the same 4 teams get there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, let me ask you this. Who outside of the top 4, just like on paper, should have the roster to get there?
A&M.
Potentially.
A&M.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say. And I'm like, but I ain't
A&M.
saying that shit. I am not throwing them in that conversation. I can't do it.
But like, think about this for a second.
They do have the roster, though.
If you factored in schedule and who could be clicking, I think I would maybe agree with Rufino a little bit. I just don't think. I think that secondary is going to take a major drop off, man. I just think it is. But I think if for whatever reason they were decent, I could see that because I'm with Bear. I think Austin Simmons is going to be really good. I think offensively, I'm not concerned with them.
But A&M, man, it's a veteran offensive line. It's 3 running backs that all could be difference makers. It's a wide receiver that I think having a healthy Mario Craver and a healthy Casey Concepcion is going to be better for them. Terry Bussey, the way they've talked about him, is really, really promising going into the year. I think the defense is going to have some dudes, but I worry about 2 things. I worry about Marcel Reed improving as a passer in the intermediate game, and I worry about the pass rush. Like, if you can't pressure a quarterback, he's going to have all the time to throw. And if they have decent receivers, they're going to make plays. And if you can't have a quarterback that will hit you at the 12-yard post pattern, or the 15-yard comeback, or the 18-yard out route, or the even 7-yard slant, at that point, you become one-dimensional as an offense, and teams are going to be able to be susceptible to beat you at that. Yeah. So, like, those are my 2 major areas of question for A&M. But the roster itself, I mean, and we kind of talked about this with like South Carolina last year. South Carolina had a quarterback that they were breaking on in, but they also had a veteran feel to them, especially defensively. A&M has that feel veteranship offensively with the offensive line, with the running back room. They have some dudes defensively who are going to be pretty good players. And like, there's a toughness about them that is just indoctrinated because of
all Marcel Reed, Bear. You can shorten it up, bro. It is all Marcel Reed.
The finding a secondary pass.
I don't think they wouldn't get to Atlanta just because of the pass rush. Like, no. I think you told me Marcel Reed was really good this year. I think they could slack a little in that department from getting to the quarterback, and they could still get there. If you told me he made a massive increase, I think it's still going to be a roller coaster.
I will say, if I get to see the version of Marcel Reed that came in place of Jalen Henderson in the Texas Bowl against Oklahoma State just 2 years ago, I think that. But like, you can't expect that in a bowl game where there are opt-outs and when there are players that you weren't expecting to go up against, and your entire game plan was for one quarterback, and then you have this quarterback. Like, look at the LSU game last year. It's a perfect example. They were prepped to go face off against Connor Wigman. Then they bring in Marcel Reed, and the entire game flips on its axis. Like, you're going to have that the entirety of the season. And so that's where my hit
running quarterbacks all year.
But like, that's where my leniency comes in is you're right. It is all on Marcel Reed. I just want to see who's going to be that secondary pass rusher. Like, because I just don't know at this point. Ryland County is the name that people keep telling me, but I got to see it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Would love to hear you guys' thoughts on it. Interesting. The media poll officially out. I feel like it's very status quo. Again, this is a very like ho-hum.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what you expect, obviously, the average of the of all the media that voted.
It is funny. I feel like a lot of people are higher. You talk about you like a lot of spots on Oklahoma's team, but everyone still kind of has them in that 7-5, 8-4 range just due to schedule.
Yeah.
I will say one more before we move on to the next thing. Are you guys as shocked that Mississippi State still is at 16 and that's not closer to Kentucky?
No, I'm not shocked at all. It's not one of those two teams.
Because
I thought Arkansas was. I mean, I guess where do you put them? But man, see the Hogs down there at 14.
I actually kind of think Arkansas is in there. I think that bottom four is probably about right.
Yeah.
I mean, I went Kentucky last, but I mean, it wouldn't shock me if it's Mississippi State.
Okay, so that's what I was about to say is that leaving media days, surprisingly, I felt more confident in Mississippi State than in Kentucky. And I had Kentucky in my preseason last.
You could coin flip and I wouldn't be surprised.
But I feel like that if you talk to more people, they still would say, well, Mississippi State's going to come in last and then Kentucky. Even though for me personally, that was the feel going into media days. Leaving media days, I'd flip it. I know it's just a coin flip, but like it still feels like as of right now.
Yeah. I could see where people pick Mississippi State because of schedule. So, I mean, look how hard their home schedule is. Like, I don't think they get one of those home games except maybe Tennessee if they snug up on them.
It's the Tennessee.
It's hard to go get a road win in general.
And I don't think they're going to lose to Tennessee. I don't.
Yeah, we're fighting over a pair of teams that we were just talking
that's
about.
What we do. That's
Kentucky losing to Toledo and State maybe getting beat by Southern Miss. So the bottom of the league's pretty bad with those couple. And I mean, Arkansas could be awful too. So those bottom three I do feel pretty good about, but it is still kind of crazy to see the Hogs down to that low. Anyways, guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. How you feel the media did. Obviously, we published our picks already. Check it out. Let us know what you think. All right, let's go the rest of what took place, guys. Media days. This also came out Friday. We've got the all SEC teams. I've specifically got the first team here. If y'all want to dive into the second team, we can. For those listening, though, in case you missed it, first team, quarterback Lenora Sellers, South Carolina. Running back Trey Weiser, Texas. Running back Le'Veon Moss, Texas A&M. Your wide receivers are Ryan Williams from Bama, Cam Coleman from Auburn, your tight end, Eli Stowers from Vandy, and your four offensive linemen and your center, Caden Proctor from Bama, Caden Green from Mizzou, DJ Campbell from Texas, Austin Barber from Florida, and Jake Slaughter from Florida as well. Guys, let's start with the offense, and then we'll go over to defense really quickly. I think the immediate takeaway here, and I want to get you guys' thoughts, it was a big win for South Carolina at media days because, buddy, Lenora Sellers being preseason All-SEC first team. Yeah. That one came as a real shock to me. I mean, not from the standpoint, like, is he, if you want to argue he's the best quarterback in the SEC, like, I'm not going to have immense pushback on you because, again, he might do things in the conference that literally nobody else can do. But to not have Nussmeier first team, I was surprised by that. I mean, what's surprising too is like the media typically does not give South Carolina over the years and historically this kind of love, and they got a lot. I mean, there's some big time expectations on them.
I don't hate it. I mean, I get it. I think you said CP, and there's not major pushback. You're right. But if you made me guess who was going to get it, it was Garrett Nussmeier. I mean, I complain about this all the time. I mean, what are we in? We're in 21 personnel. Like, what are we running here, right? Can we not get 3 receivers on this first team?
Okay, so that was my next question. I think that this is where we all have the argument on who is the third best receiver. So who would you put if they had a third receiver?
I would go Rand. See, I'm more of like a projecting. I'd go someone like Ryan Wingo on there. I would like project a good season, and I respect that a little more than just going off just somebody like that. Again, I thought Jeremy Bernard kind of got left off, but I'd probably go Wingo if you made me pick one.
What about you, Chris?
Yeah, it's a good question. I like the Bernard pick a lot, honestly. I like the Jeremy Bernard pick a lot. So I believe that's who I voted too.
I would have gone to Aaron Anderson from.
Yeah, I was about to say him too. You could make a case for a lot of different guys.
Yeah,
I think that's the reason why they still have it at 2. Because let's just be real, nobody's arguing Ryan Williams and Cam Coleman. Like I feel like that's a clear.
Dog. I just don't think they really, or they've done it for 21 personnel for years when no one runs that anymore. They've just kind of stuck with it. I don't think they're not trying to hurt anybody's feelings with it.
Sure.
Can I also just say this, guys, really quickly? And this is not to, everybody. I was going to say everybody there that votes it takes it seriously. Hell, I don't know. It's the same people that are voting for Vandy and Oklahoma to win the SEC. So, I'm interested in the all SEC teams when they come out. It doesn't I don't know that I could ever look at it and be like, I'm outraged. It's just because it's just so it's a fun talking point, but I don't know. Maybe y'all disagree.
You can make a case for a lot. I have a hard time.
It just doesn't mean a lot to me. It just
I have a hard time not seeing one of Georgia's offensive linemen end up being
not a single dog on the first team offense.
Guys, there's not a single dog on the second team offense either.
No, I mean in the biggest look, guys, where you're not even to that side of the ball. Defense, no Bama players. They probably have the best defense in the league heading into the year.
It's crazy.
On that note, you want to stick with the offense here?
Just real fast.
Yeah.
Shout out to Andy. Shout out to Andy for at least having
Scours, baby.
Yeah.
Shout out to Andy for that. If I were to push back on another one, and I don't know, and this isn't fair because of Lavian Moss deserves the respect because of the way he was playing before the injury. I could see myself pushing back a little bit on that. And the reason why is because of the fact that they don't have this running back mentioned at all on any of the 3 teams. Ahmad Hardy has got to get a little bit more respect. I understand he's the newcomer. I understand he plays for Missouri. But this is a dude that ran for 1,300 yards and led the Sun Belt in rushing touchdowns. He is going to be the primary back. He is going to see a bulk of the carries in Como this year. And it's no shot at Trey Weisner because he had 1,000 yards last season, but he's going to be splitting carries with C.J. Baxter. It's no shot at Lavian Moss because if he was the best running back in the SEC before the injury, but he's going to be splitting carries with Ruben Owens and with Amari Daniels. You're going to have a running back that's going to put up exceptional production. And the fact that he wasn't mentioned on all 3 teams is a little bit sour.
See, and that's where you go, Bear, you're projecting. Some people project it and some people don't.
And then, the other thing that I will say is for the first time ever, it feels like to me, they actually have the offensive line built with the offensive line at every single position. Caden Proctor is a tackle. Austin Barber is a tackle. DJ Campbell is a guard. Caden Green is a guard. Jake Slaughter is a center. If you were building an offensive line, that's a way you can build an offensive line. It's weird, but that's just.
Well, they separated it this year. Remember, they did when you filled it out. They separated by tackles, guards, and centers.
I thought it was a good. I thought it was a fun way to be like, hey, you know what? We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it a real offensive line.
You can make it. This is the year of the center between Brailsford, Slaughter. The kid could flip to center too. Is a Tolleson kid too. Then you got Connor Liu at Auburn.
I say the center for Oklahoma too. I'm blanking off who on my head, but it's 5 centers with veteranship. You got to appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a good center league.
All right, we can go defense.
All right, let's go defense. And what Dave mentioned,
4 DBs.
I did want to bring up.
Well, what are we doing, man?
Put us in the nickel.
A phone booth here.
Put us in the nickel.
Seriously, where is the nickel?
Yeah, I do want to mention, like Dave said, the media selected 0 Alabama players to its all-SEC defensive first team. Notable snubs, Xavier Brown, who did not even make any preseason all-SEC defensive team, and Damani Jackson was not included as well, obviously. So, yeah, and a defense that I believe, and granted, I was sent, funny enough, I was actually sent this right where we jumped into this. But apparently Pro Football Focus, however much stock you put in that, I know some people don't, whatever. But Bama's got a player in the top 10 at every defensive position per Pro Football Focus.
But none in the All-SEC
But none in the All-SEC first team. So Weird, very, very weird times we are living in where Bama gets no players on the All-SEC first team preseason defense. Those who did make it, you've got your 4D linemen, Keldrick Faulk from Auburn, Dylan Stewart from South Carolina, Colin Simmons from Texas, Christian Miller from Georgia. Your 3 linebackers, because again, we're playing 4-3 here. Ant Hill from Texas, Whit Weeks from LSU, CJ Allen from Georgia, and your 4 DBs. KJ Bolden from Georgia, Michael Taft from Texas, Dalen Everett from Georgia, and Jermod McCoy from Tennessee.
They ain't running on us, baby. We loading that box.
We're loading the box.
They ain't running on us.
Bro, this is the same all-SEC team format from like the early 2000s when it was 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Yeah. I know we're talking defense, by the way, but like, did y'all also see that the first team specialists, all 5 of them were Georgia players?
Georgia players.
They're like, Georgia's going to have the greatest. Georgia's going to have the greatest special teams of all time. I mean,
do you guys have any do you have any things that stand out to you just besides the Bama one?
The Bama one is pretty interesting.
I mean, we gotta have more DBs, man. Like, it's just other I'm not trying to hate on KJ Bolden, Michael Taft, Dalen Everett, or Jermod McCoy, but like, hell, Jermod McCoy may not even play in the first game. Like,
he may not play for the first half of the season.
Like, what are we doing? Like,
I mean,
like,
guys,
that's my main critique. I mean, again, all those front 7 dudes are freaks. I mean, I wouldn't say Whit Weeks is a freak, but the other 6 of those guys are like pretty big freaks. So I can't argue with any of that. Whit Weeks, I think, gets a little notoriety because of his personality, which is fair. Good branding for him during this time. I think he's a pretty solid player, struggles to get off guards at times. I don't want to say overrated, but compared to the other 2 that he's matched with, I mean, I think if we were playing a real nickel defense, Whit Weeks is not on the first team at all SEC team defense. I mean, you can make case Xavier Sori's better than him, but I mean, my thing is just we got to add more DBs with how today's game is played.
Who would be your DB that you would add? Let's just say that they gave you a 5th. Who would you go with?
Oh, I'm going to probably go Damani Jackson.
Okay.
What
about you?
Throw a different name. I'm going to go Jelon Kilgore.
Okay, so I would throw a different name in because Jelon Kilgore would be my pick. I would go I would probably go with Will Lee from Texas A&M. I thought he had a good closeout to last season. I'd argue too. And it's nothing against Christian Miller because I think Christian Miller is one of the better defensive linemen in the SEC. But I really like LT Overton. I thought LT Overton was coming into his own late last year. And the fact that he is going to be back for another season with Kane Womack's defense is really substantial. He is like we were sitting inside of the room when Kalen DeBoer was talking, mentioning how you're replacing so much on the pass rush. And he just looks down and goes, you ever heard of a guy by the name of LT Overton? Like they're so high on him being an enforcer for the defensive line this year. And he finally hit his stride as a 5-star talent that he never was able to do when he was at Texas A&M. So it's like, I have very high hopes for him. And just so I don't look like I'm crapping on Texas A&M, I still believe the most underrated linebacker and maybe the most underrated defensive player in the SEC is Torian York.
Yeah.
Like, Torian York plays...
I think Torian York's better than Whit Weeks.
He plays so much bigger than his 6-foot frame and his 210-pound body. And like, he is great in run support and he reads and reacts exceptionally well. He does everything that you want in a leader. And remember, this was a guy that didn't have a lot of offers coming out of high school. Like, he was supposed to go to Duke and work with Mike Elko. And like, Elko offered him a spot, and then A&M was like, you know what? If Elko believes in him, we're going to believe in him. And he was the best linebacker for 2 years. I mean, a year before Elko even got there. And then when Elko got there, he took another step forward. The fact that he's third team, and I get it, Deontay Lawson, you can give a lot of respect to, and Surtain Perkins.
Deontay's not 100%.
And Surtain Perkins is like, I don't know how to describe him because he's a blitzer and he's an edge rusher that plays the linebacker spot. Like, he doesn't.
He's like Harold Perkins right now. They don't know how to play him right now.
Like, he's Micah Parsons in senses because of like, yeah, you can play him as an edge, you can play him as a middle linebacker. But like, both of them got ranked over him in the second team unit. And I understand, like, yeah, you have Harold Perkins still there, and we don't really know what Harold Perkins is going to be this year. I would have had Torian York in my first team defense. Maybe over Whit Weeks. Definitely, I think I would have put him over CJ Allen, and LT Overton I would have had over Christian Miller.
You'd have put him over CJ Allen before Whit Weeks?
I'd probably put him over both, if I'm being completely honest. Like, Ant Hill to me is the best player in the SEC. So that's a lot. But everyone else afterwards is like, I could see.
I'd have taken Whit Weeks off.
I can make a debate for.
I agree with you. I think York is a very good argument to first team.
Yeah, I like Torian York's game a lot. I was surprised he didn't make it. Again, Whit Weeks, the Honky Badger, great player, but
here's another one. Here's another one that I think needs to be mentioned. Isaac Smith for Mississippi State, not for first team, but definitely not third team. Like if we were to throw like another honorable mention for defensive backs in there, yeah, why not? I mean, the kid had over 100 tackles last season. He led the team in interceptions. He led the team in pass breakups. And I actually really respected his answer when talking about why not leave the worst defense in the SEC, if not one of the worst defenses in SEC history. He didn't want to learn a new system. He was tired of having a new defense coordinator every year, and he really was bought into what was supposed to be the identity of Mississippi State. Like, he may end up being a dude that we talk about as a really good player on a crappy team. Like every few years, we'll see a kid get drafted like in the top 40 of the in the top end of the second round, and they'll play for like either a small school or like a 5-7 roster. And it's just because he's so much better than everyone else on his team. Like Isaac Smith, I think is higher than a third-team defensive player.
Guy I'd throw in before we get out of here, the Mansur Delane kid would probably be a kid if I was projecting that could end up being a pretty good player. If LSU would have a good season, I'd say he'd probably be one of the main reasons. Wouldn't shock me maybe if he ends up on the first team, kind of the Bears projections with Hardy, the running back in Missouri.
One more to throw in, Barian Brown as not first-team return specialist. What are we doing? Like
he was my vote for that, actually.
Yeah, he was my vote for it too. Barian Brown, I think is gonna.
Who'd they give it to again?
Zachariah Branch.
See, we're all over the place. Some people project it, and then like we go back to just kind of a Barian Brown because it's what we're familiar with.
I get the Zachariah Branch hype. I do. But I'm not even sure if he's going to be wide receiver 1 in Athens this year. I think Noah Thomas is going to take on that role.
If Zachariah Branch is wide receiver 1, they're in trouble again.
They're in a lot of trouble.
You're using like your jet motion guys or wide receiver 1. That's another Arian Smith screamed all over it.
Yeah, you're in a lot of trouble if it's Zachariah Branch week 1.
There you have it. All SEC teams. The debate, banter. Again, they're fun to talk.
Care enough.
They're fun to talk about. I'm not losing sleep over the fact that, granted, though, what fueled Alabama?
Yeah, it's not a big deal who the players are because, like you said, you can make a case for ton of them. They need to restructure it because you're leaving off some guys who probably.
Who do we have to? Hey, I'm going to get in touch with Chuck Dunlap and Herb Vincent and see if we can't get the damn.
Listen, man, these guys aren't trying to win this game 9-6.
we still got the same format as when David Green was playing quarterback in Athens and
no one ever went for it on fourth down unless it was for the game.
Yeah, the average score was 13-10. It's like, all right, it's time to nobody's running.
Alabama was holding people to under a yard rush, a yard per attempt in rushing defense.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, we'd love to hear from y'all. Who do you think got snubbed? Just name us your favorite player, I guess.
Sure.
And the media's preseason poll, preseason all SEC teams, fishing the books. Guys, before we get out of here, a couple quick nuggets. Want to get your thoughts on some things that happened today and over the weekend. First thing, which I don't know how much of breaking news this is, but it is interesting to hear one of the most influential voices of college football speak on this. Kirk Herbstreit was on a podcast talking about Nico Iamaleava, talking about his father specifically. Had some really, really interesting comments in regards to essentially saying that Nico's dad was demanding that Josh Heupel go out and get better players to surround him, better offensive line, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure you guys have heard the clip by now. Thoughts on any thoughts at all on the Kirk Herbstreit comments? And I think some of it was speculation because he was saying if that happened, I'm disgusted. But so it's all he said, she said. But I mean, it kind of
You said CP. It's like we probably figured that was happening. I think that had already kind of leaked. People had kind of known that. That's not shocking. Just with kind of, I think the clown show that was on Nico's side with his agent.
The quote was, "You got to get better around him if you want us to stick around."
We heard that was like an issue. Which again, two things can be true at once. Yeah, I think some of us could make an argument they could have a little bit of – they have some unproven skill guys that obviously Nico sees in practice every day and he may not be happy with. But at the same time, dude, you can't be calling. You got to stay out of your kid's life enough where you're not calling his college coach, man, even his high school coach. Like, at some point, you got to let him spread his wings. This is going to limit his development down the road. Nico, I think all of us would be shocked. Maybe I don't want to speak for y'all. I would be shocked if he ends up having a successful professional career because I think his father's too involved, enabling standpoint like that. And I'll also say this, go the Tom Brady route at that point. If you want to have – I mean, everybody wins when we win on the field. It doesn't matter. It amplifies us all. It's what all college coaches have ever said when you've been in there. Hey, winning affects all of us in a good way. Dude, if you want to go surround talent, how about you give up $1 million a year? You're already making about 7. What's 6? I mean, I know that it's easy for me to say. It's $1 million difference. Tom Brady used to do it a couple of times in New England. He'd take a little bit of pay cut so they could go pay some more players to get around him. I think the year when Randy Moss joined them. So if you were that good of a teammate, you were complaining that much about the talent around you, dude, go up to Josh Heupel and be like, you know what? I know I'm still making $6 million. I think I can give up $1 million here. I don't know. It's easy for me to say, but I feel like I would do that if I was making that much money. So, I mean, again, nothing we didn't already know. But
we hold on really quickly, Bear. I want to ask y'all this. We know how Tennessee fans feel, obviously. Is there a player in college football that college football fans are pulling more against than Nico Iamaleava? Like, I feel like everybody wants to see him fail. And that people might be taken aback by that. Oh my God, you're talking about a college. Spare me with that. They're getting paid. Like, I think most people are like, I would be happy to see Nico fail at UCLA. Is that too harsh? Is that too harsh?
You're right. Again, I don't really care.
Deep down in their heart of hearts, it'd be like, I kind of hope it blows up in his face.
I don't really care, but you're right. I think if you poll people, CP, I think you're 100%.
Yeah, the common fan. I'm just saying, like, the common college football fan.
Cheering against them.
Yeah, because there's enough people that would cheer for Arch Manning and Diego Pavia, I think, to be able to like kind of counteract that. Like, because again, there's going to be that small familiar group that says Arch Manning doesn't deserve this because of the only reason why he was ever hyped is because he's a Manning. But the Texas fan base is so loud and proud that they would love to see it. There are going to be people that are UCLA fans that go, we gave up Joey Aguilar to bring in this kid and his diva dad. Like, that's what it comes down to.
I love thinking about Diego Pavia being college football's villain.
Dude, think about this. People forgot about how weird it is over there. His brother's his backup.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's true. Madden
right? Over there now.
Jesus, what a quarterback room.
So for me, the big thing is I understand where Nico comes from and where even the family comes from. We believe that we have a player in my son that is going to end up being a difference maker and a big reason why you can go win the SEC title and your offense is predicated around him. We got to get better weapons to surround him because if he can only do so much. The problem is that needs to come from Nico Iamaleava, not from Nico's dad. And for me, you've talked about this a lot. You don't really care about crapping on college players at this point because they're getting paid. And when you're getting paid, you got to face the criticism. For me, it comes to, I'm the quarterback of this team. I can easily tell my dad, I know what's best for my career because I'm at a school that I handpicked that I thought was best for my career. I will handle this. But instead, somebody else was speaking for him and having the mouthpiece run. And that's where it gets really souring, is if Nico would have said something, I truly believe that Josh Heupel would have been a little bit more attentive and going, yeah, let's figure it out. What do we need to go work on? Do we need to add an interior offensive lineman? Do we need to get a better weaponry? Do we need to maybe spend a little bit more in the NIL fund for a tight end? Like, what is it that we need to get? But when your dad comes in and then you go in with already an aggressive attitude of, we already know how good we are. You're the one that's failing. You're the one that's living up to expectations. When actually last season, the reason why Tennessee was in the playoff was their defense was awesome and they had the best running back in the SEC for my money in Dylan Sampson. Nico was kind of hindering the team's success at times last year.
They won despite him. You
can't even sit here and go, my son overexceeded expectations with a mediocre cast last year, when honestly, with the mediocre cast, he kind of still was mediocre in the process with that. So that's kind of where we're at with Nico. I think that, again, there will be a lot of Tennessee fans that are excited for the Joey Aguilar era and really what is going to be the George McIntyre and Jake Merklinger era. But the bottom line is that if Nico has this conversation and Josh goes, you know what, not for me, you go do the best of luck for you, I can't help you, that's a different thing than his dad coming on in and saying, I'm controlling the narrative and the situation and the identity of what this team is going to be for my son. You're 20 years old, dude. Like, at this point, you need to be able to have this heart-to-heart with your coach about what needs to change if you need to go ahead and get better. Or you need to work on some things. You need to get better at certain things that you can help your team improve with. Because you didn't do it last year. And ultimately, there were multiple times that you shot your team in the foot. Like, a lot of people don't look at this, and it's really frustrating. As bad as Jackson Arnold was, as terrible as he was in that matchup in Oklahoma, it never felt like Nico took full advantage of that game. Ever.
They didn't ask him to, remember? They just ran.
Right.
That wasn't Nico. That was Heupel.
I'm just saying. There could have been
more. I think they knew if they didn't turn the football over, they were winning that football game. So they kind of, we saw Heupel go talk to him about it.
Probably, but still. When it felt like that we could go for the dagger and the kill shot, that to me would have been the move that I would have done. I would have just tried it at least.
Guys, finally, wanted to mention really quickly and get you guys' thoughts. Texas recruiting has been a topic of conversation, and for good reason. They are absolutely on a tear right now. Obviously, on SEC Media Days when Steve Sarkisian speak, heck, while he was speaking, I believe, they picked up a commitment from a guy, the 5-star linebacker, in the middle of Sark's presser. Later that day, I forget that kid's name. Atkinson, that's right. He was from Georgia, right?
Yeah.
From Georgia. Later that day, they get a flip from James Johnson, a 5-star defensive lineman, number 1 defensive lineman in the 26 class, flipping from Georgia to Texas. I believe this was yesterday. They get Derek Cooper, who picked Texas over Georgia. As you can imagine, Georgia fans are not loving what is taking place, and it's led to social media kind of going all over the place. Derek Cooper, by the way, from Hollywood, Florida, choosing the Longhorns over Georgia, Ohio State, Miami, and Florida State. Guys, just your quick thoughts on Texas's recruiting run. There's another big dog in the SEC that's just making life tough. And Texas is, and I was talking to Bear about this morning, Dave, I posted something yesterday about it where it's like a gif, Texas recruiting. It's a gif of a cartoon character smoking a cigar. And when he blows out the smoke, it's a money symbol. And some people took that as some shade. I'm like, bro, whatever. At this point, flaunt it. Like, you got the money. Like who cares if a kid's choosing you because of money? Like, at least you have it. So I know there's a lot of people wanting to take shots, but in this day and age of college football, you don't want that to be the only reason the kid chooses you. But your roster is going to be about as good as your war chest is. Ohio State proved that last year. So I wouldn't, dude. I'm not hating at all. I think and I think that's what we're seeing. Texas has got a lot to sell beyond the NIL stuff, but they've also got one of the most lucrative NIL offerings you're going to have in the sport. So
yeah, they're rolling right now.
They're rolling.
Sweet. Even like a 10-2 season, they don't win it all this year is nothing to be ashamed about. They're going to be in the conversation every year. Sark's got them to that point, and that's all you can ask. We haven't seen this since Matt Brown had it really rolling. Sark just missing kind of that getting to that national title game. But again, it's first world problems there, and I know they also want to get there, but if they keep doing what they're doing now,
do we not give Sark enough credit for the job he's done at Texas? Because they were a joke for a while. They sucked for quite a while.
I don't know. I can't keep brandishing and polishing off the I love Steve Sarkisian knob that much longer. Because I do enough of it. I'm polishing the crap
Bear
out of
can't keep polishing the knob.
I can't keep being good about it.
That would be good.
I wasn't asking you to polish his knob. I was just asking, do we not give him enough credit?
I wasn't asking.
I wasn't telling you to go that far.
No, actually, he's a pretty good football coach.
Listen. But I've been saying for years that what Sark has done has been promising, and that he's building it to be the next Alabama versus Alabama Georgia. That's what he's doing at this point. I feel like I'm way ahead of the curve because I've even given him too much credit. You guys aren't giving him enough. I'm giving him way too much then, because I have said since they won by double digits against Alabama. I know it's very funny, Dave. You're going to be laughing about that for 20 minutes. But ever since that double-digit win against Alabama, they were masquerading as a Big 12 team, but they were really an SEC roster. That at this point, that was the turning moment of where it's time to start taking Texas seriously. No, they were not a complete team just yet. And no, they still had their faults. And Certainly there were things they were going to have to fix before they got to the conference, but getting a win like that and a dominant win like that and seeing the way you're recruiting, you're doing the right things. You are. You're doing everything right, and it's hard for me at this point to continue to say stupid shit that's going to get me in trouble because that's basically what we're at this point. I'll say this when it comes to recruiting with Texas. It's not shocking to me because they're already recruiting at a high-end level in the Big 12. The brand of the SEC with that logo, I think, has drastically brought them up to a new vicinity to where it lets them maybe win a recruit that was going to look at Georgia or look at Alabama. That helps out. But Texas has the money. Texas has the boosters. Having that big yellow and blue SEC brand on the patch right there, it's only intensified to where it's like, you know what? We know that we are a team that you don't want to mess with because we have the resources. And when you win the conference title, it adds a little bit more of a vicinity. Like, it's not shocking to me that Texas is landing the type of kids they are over programs like Georgia and Alabama, because really the only thing that was stopping them from landing them to begin with was the fact that they played in the Big 12 and you played in the SEC. Now you don't have that anymore.
Timing's always perfect, man. It's lined up with Sark, perfect timing, and then the way college game kind of changed in the middle of it.
Yeah, I can't wait to get comments from people being like, that Bear Thompson guy on SC Unfiltered, he should have suck off Sark a lot.
Yep, there you go. Immunity.
God, he can't get it out of his mouth.
Immunity. The bias coming out the Texas bias is coming out. But I didn't go to school, but I grew up in the state.
Listen, you've made it to the sweet spot. We'll get to the point we did last season where I had people accusing me of being a Texas homer and a Texas A&M homer. I'm like, I don't think we can be both simultaneously, guys. We kind of have to be on one side or the other. So
I hate on
whatever.
Auburn.
Or on neither side.
Hey, you're just sipping tea at the Dixie Chicken, baby.
Yeah. Damn tea sipper. Damn tea sipper. All right. On that note, we'll put a pin in it, guys. Again, I appreciate y'all, Dave and Cole. Again, we appreciate y'all tuning in. This has been a lot of fun. We will be back on Thursday, guys, in case you did not realize or just didn't know. The schedule for the overtime drive right now, Mondays and Thursdays, 8 o'clock Central, every single Monday, Thursday. Once we get into season, it is going to ramp up quite a bit. We're going to be adding our Sunday Fun Day show, which essentially is going to be our recap of everything that happened over the weekend. There will be a lot more structure from the standpoint of when you tune in on a Monday or Thursday during the season, you're going to know what you're getting, essentially. And we'll talk about other stuff too, the various topics, but it'll be a lot of, kind of the same schedule week to week, as it always is during the season when we're in season. But until then, going to be a lot of fun in the preseason, breaking everything down. We'll be reacting to all kinds of stuff, whether it be our own segments or fall camp reports or whatever it might be. So anyways, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn notifications. Check us out via podcast. If you get your podcast, you can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. For Dave Shumate and Cole Thompson, I am Chris Phillips, and this is the Overtime Drive, SEC Unfiltered's SEC football show, the best SEC football show on the internet. Appreciate you all tuning in. Have a great rest of your Monday night. We will talk to you all on Thursday. Cheers.